4 Army soldiers. This is from Huffington Post's Crime Watch by Russ Bynum. 4 Army soldiers based in southeast Georgia killed a former comrade and his girlfriend. They murdered one of their own and his girlfriend because they were going to blow the whistle on this thing. The lead is actually buried. In my opinion, the lead is the one of the last paragraphs. The militia group, had big plans and plotted to take over Fort Stewart, bombing the Forsyth Park Fountain in nearby Savannah in Washington State. The group plotted to bomb a dam and poison the state's apple crop. Ultimately, prosecutors said the militia's goal was to overthrow the government and assassinate the president. This is what's growing inside the United States military right now. And they killed 2 of their own people back in December. I mean, more than half a year ago. It took a while for the ACIS or whatever the Army Crime Service, whatever it is, whoever investigated it, to find this. Now, Jefferson was very, very clear about this, that having standing armies during times of peace was a danger to the Republic. That countries were overthrown by people within their standing armies. That if you had a time of peace, you had a bunch of soldiers sitting around cleaning their guns, and some of them are malcontents, they might get together and say, let's take over this damn government. Let's shoot the president. Literally, that's what these guys were planning on doing. And let's have a military coup. And, we remember there have been so many of them, right? Pinochet. Well, I should have a list in front of me, actually. Pinochet comes to mind. I don't know. Shane, you got any you come up with? There was one in Argentina. I forget his name. It's been coup after coup after coup, actually, all over the world. You see these military coups. And this was something that, back in the day, Jefferson certainly saw and said, no, we don't want this. We don't want military coups in the United States. We don't want a standing army. In fact, here's a quote. This is a letter that he wrote to David Humphreys in 1793. There are instruments so dangerous to the rights of a nation and which place them so totally at the mercy of their governors that those governors, whether legislative or executive, should be restrained from keeping such instruments on foot, but in well-defined cases. Such an instrument is a standing army. Now, in that case, Jefferson was expressing his concern that the army might turn its guns on the people themselves. In other words, the country would become despotic if you had a standing army. At different times, he expressed these 2 different opinions. One is that the country itself could become a despotic place if you had a standing army. At other times, he said the standing army itself represented a danger to the country. Here's another one. This is his first annual message. This is his State of the Union address, 1801. His first, he was elected in the election of 1800, President of the United States. He says, "Nor is it conceived needful or safe that a standing army should be kept up in times of peace for defense against invasion." Now, at that time, there were 300,000 men in the U.S. Army, and he cut it down to 3,000 by the time he left office 8 years later. Here's another one. Standing armies are this is a reply to Lord North's Proposition 1775. Standing armies are inconsistent with a people's freedom and subversive of their quiet. And then to Chandler Price in 1807, when he was President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson wrote, "The spirit of this country is totally adverse to a large military force." So what does Mitt Romney want to do? He wants to massively increase the military budget. So much so, without any details, that the military analysts who look at this kind of thing for a living, they can't figure out where he's going to put all the money. It doesn't make any sense. Well, all this money that Romney, keep in mind, the military budget has tripled since 1997. Tripled. It is the largest chunk of discretionary spending within the U.S. budget. It's more than half. In fact, it's almost 60%, I believe. And Romney wants to increase it even more. And the military's looking at it going, we don't know what we do with this. I mean, we're winding down wars right now. Romney wants to add 100,000 soldiers. Obama's like saying to guys who've been doing 3 and 4 tours of duty, okay, fine, you can go home now.